Hello everyone. Good evening, guys. So, welcome to the Intuitions. For those of you who are new viewers, Intuitions is a weekly chat show where we discuss on topics which are relevant to the youth, but also we find that which aren't spoken much. When we usually catch up with our friends or colleague, whosoever it may be. These are the topics which we discuss on Intuitions. And by the way, I'm Vijay. I'm from Chennai and currently pursuing my bachelor's in homeopathy, and I'm also an STS scholar, awarded by Central Council of Research in Homeopathy. And along with me here, I'm accompanied by two people who are also in the science background, one from a research field and one from a medical field, same as mine. And so I hand over it to the two of you to introduce yourself. So over to you, Sister Ajaya.
Yeah. So hi everyone. Good evening. Hope you had a good day today. So this is Ajaya. I'm from Kerala, Trivandrum. So I've completed my UG in homeopathy. I completed my bachelor's during this pandemic period. So yeah, that's over to Kunal.
So hello everyone. Hello. Good evening to everybody. I'm Kunal. I'm from Delhi, and I'm doing my research from IIT Delhi. And my domain is computational neuroscience. And it's been a great time to do research and all these things. Because of the pandemic, we face a lot of problems. But things are going pretty well in the research field also. Yeah. So now I think Vijay will lead you to the sessions.
Yeah. Thank you guys for introducing yourselves. So I'm really glad to have you both alongside with me, discussing on this topic of sleep habits. So yeah, as you all know, today's topic is about sleep habits. Something which is always very challenging, to have a regulation over in this present fast-moving world, which has been suddenly paused by this pandemic. Yeah, I think pretty much all the viewers and all of us here are also facing some difficulty and challenges in regulating these sleep habits in our day-to-day life. So this is some topic which we'll be speaking about. So before moving on to looking into what actually sleep is, thought we can have a chat about the impact which this pandemic period has particularly created on our sleep habits. So well to speak about, particularly in my case, if you want to share with you guys, well, I'm doing my college in this area of Kanyakumari in the state of Tamil Nadu. So I'm also staying there in hostel. So I think it was around the early March, you know, uh, when I had shifted from my hostel back to home since this pandemic holidays were announced. And coming back home, what I always wanted to do was to have good food, have enough sleep, and also chill out, like a relaxed period away from college stress and stuffs. But then actually came to know was that I started oversleeping, in the initial days of my holidays, somewhere around March or April, which eventually led me to develop this habit of laziness. So it was already 2 months before when I actually realized that my sleep habits are gone haywire, and it has changed a lot due to this shift from normal regular day lifestyle to this pandemic lifestyle. So that was a really impactful beginning for me with this pandemic leaves. And one more thing which I would want to share is the impact of phones, which I started noticing during this time. Before, during my hostel days, still, I was using mobile phones and stuffs, but then I wasn't that much aware of the impact which it would make on my sleep. But then during these days of pandemic, since we have more time and taking the leisure of time to sleep and do whatever we have, you know, on a regular day without any time limits. So I thought, why not simply surf web or watch movies around the night and chill out before you sleep. So I began sleeping like really late around night, around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the initial days, watching movies, doing some web surfing, YouTube and stuffs like that. This eventually led me to this habit of waking up late, to cover up this normal span, which we know is 7 to 8 hours of sleep for everyone. To cover up this, I used to wake up around 9 or 8:30, and around May, my online classes have began from my college side. So I used to do this, waking up around 8:30 and logging into the class, and again going back to the sleep. Like, and again I used to wake up around 9:30 to resume and attend my classes. So what I thought was having this particular sleep span of 7 to 8 years, 8 hours, would help me feel better through the day. But after a few weeks or so, following this kind of sleep pattern, I realized that it was really a tough habit and a bad, decision to take on sleeping late and waking late. So I was really quick to realize this, and I began sleeping early and waking up around 6. And the impact it had on my online classes, it was really good. So yeah, these were two experiences which I felt with the effect of pandemic and mobile phones. So over to Kunal. Would you like
Yeah,
to share your experience?
yeah, I want to add some more things like what Vijay has shared here, like how he used to use the mobile phones and laptops more in this pandemic time. So research has been done in India and outside in other countries also that people has been using the mobile phones and laptop and television more in this pandemic time because they are in the home, they are in the quarantine or lockdown, so because of the utilization of more and more phones, their sleep habits has been impacted very badly. So one of the scientific research has been done many years back about the wireless network which we have in our house. The Wi-Fi and even the mobile network. These all the frequencies create some electromagnetic waves, which is very very harmful for person who wants to sleep at the right time and who wants to wake up at the right time. So because of that, that impacts the sleep of the people all over the world, where the people are using it more and where the people are using it less. So research has been done on this field. So apart from that, on my experience before the pandemic, I was very used to go to my college and you go to my lab and I have a fixed time to do everything. But when I was in my house, and as we know in research, we have to give a lot of time. So when I go into one of my projects and I am not able to get the result, I used to extend my time of studies and to do the data analysis and to do the all kind of stuff which we do in research. So I was very very relaxed and my body was not feeling very bad. So I was very flexible with the time and I compromised with my sleep. In the starting months, I thought that I am achieving more in the field of research, but I am lacking more in my health. So then after 2 months, I changed my pattern, and then I avoid studying at night, which helped me a lot to maintain my health and to to have also a productive day every single day. So like this I come to my conclusion, and before even if we know that this research has been done on this research has been done on that topic, if we experience it on our life, everyday life, like if we are being the we be the experiment, then the result is something else. So I just want to say that was my experience, and this has been the research which is done on the mobile phones and the technology which we are using recently. So now over to Ajaya, and I think she can also complement us with some of his experience.
Yeah. Yes. I like Kunal brother has already shared about this impact of this electromagnetic field over to our field, like others natural environment that is around us. So I had this experience long back, as Vijay has already told about this hostel life. I was sleeping in this bunk bed, and I used to keep my mobile phones near me. I used to set the alarm in the morning for waking up in the morning, and I just used to keep it besides me. And for so many days, I was really struggling to sleep. Even if I do all the routine work properly, I just go to bed at time. But still, I feel there is some struggle behind it. And I was thinking what actually is affecting me. And then I realized maybe it's because of this mobile phone. Just as it came from within that I should just keep it aside and sleep. And one day what I tried is I just kept it on the table and I just slept sound. I just got a really sound sleep at that night. So then I realized, yes. So then I came across this yogic psychology part where Daji has explained about this influence of mobile phones on sleep. And he has explained that there are a set of schoolgirls in Denmark who had the same experience that had actually affected their, what we say, that education. All this part, they couldn't learn better. Their everything, abilities were affected much. And they realized that it is because of this influence of this mobile phone. And they started keeping it aside. They used to keep it in another room and sleep. And this actually contributed not only for a better sleep, but also it contributed to better academic. And so I think, yes, we should try, all of us should try to keep aside our mobile phones, at least during sleep, or maybe an hour before we go to sleep. So this
Yeah.
is my experience, and over to Vijay.
Beautifully shared,
Yeah.
Kunal and Ajaya. So
Yeah.
yeah, these were a few experiences which I think not only us three, I think many of you guys were also felt during this time of pandemic. So talking about the signs of sleep, I would say that sleep is something which is really important. I think not only as a natural process in our everyday life, but I also think that it's really important for our survival, like how important water and food is, sleep too is. So like you can experiment, no? If you want to check it out, you can think, stay awake for a day or two, and then you would see the ill effects of not sleeping more. And there are many researches which you can find in the online platform or elsewhere that sleeps no sleep habits, no, it impacts a lot on your memory, immunity, and also on your overall body mechanism, like how the outside world has this pattern of sunrise to sunset and no rotation of the earth. I think even our inner body has this pattern called circadian rhythm, so which is in sync with that of the outside world. So as
Mm.
soon as the sun rises, there is this hormone which our body secretes called melatonin, no, and which is really impacting in a sleep. So this hormone is very sensitive to presence of light. So if light is there, the hormone is inhibited from its secretion, and you're not able to have a proper sleep. So that's why in this present day world, where even after sunset, we are having this electrical lights and mobile devices which are looking into, and these all are emitting lots of light rays entering our eyes and inhibiting this hormone from secreting and affecting our natural circadian rhythm. So it's really harmful. I think this if you're prolonging this light rays entering you deep inside your night. And also there are effects or researchers saying that doing night shifts is been changed as in a carcinogen, something which is potent to produce cancer. When who has published WHO has published a research paper regarding this. So there are many various results and researches explaining the ill effects and positives of not having a sleep and having proper sleep. So would Kunal like to explain some of it?
Yeah. So as you are explaining about the circadian rhythm, in that many researchers has done research on different kind of neurotransmitters and hormones also. Like they have taken some subjects around 30, and then for the big long term study they have taken 100 subjects, And when they have done this study, they measure their neurotransmitters and the hormones all inside their body, and they check how to the whole 24 hours, in the day and night both. So what they have concluded that the imbalance in anything, like in the neurotransmitter and hormones, are only and only because of the imbalance in their lifestyle, like imbalance in their sleep, imbalance in their eating habits and everything. So this has been concluded a lot, and there is one more research in which the researchers and scientists have seen that people who sleep at night, who have high cortisol level. So cortisol level is a stress hormone, you know. So when they sleep at night and they have a high cortisol level, their sleep is very, very bad, you know. And it is only because of their day-to-day activities, what they do in the day, and and how stressful is their day. So these are some points, which researchers has experiment in this area. So now over to Ajaya. She will explain more and expand, more about this.
Yeah, okay. Yes, Kunal. Before going to this experiments, I would like to give a bit light on how this brain waves work during sleep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there are different stages to sleep. Okay. It is not just we lie down and we just sleep. No, there are different stages actually. So this transition we can actually measure with this EEG waves,
Yeah.
and it travels from this alpha to theta to delta. So it is from this drowsiness to very deep sleep state. And in this very deep sleep state, we'll get this delta waves. So that is a state where there is nothing happening. We are in complete restful state. There is so much of peace and harmony in that state, where this more delta waves are emitted from this brain. And in connection with that, why is it necessary that we need this much hours of sleep at night? Have you wondered why we need this much of hours of sleep at night? Like, if there is this saying that we should at least take 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. Yeah, it is not like we can sleep 4 hours in the night and 4 hours in the daytime. Not like that actually. We
Yes.
need to have a continuous sleep. Yeah. Why is it so? Because there is this TED talk by Jeff Elif. He's a neuroscientist. He has beautifully explained the necessity of getting a continuous 8 hours sleep, and in which he has explained that, when we take this like blood vessel system, lymphatic system, we can see that there is no lymphatic system above this part, like head and neck and the spinal cord region. There is no lymphatic drainage you can see in that part. So then how this detoxification happens? Have you wondered? Yes. He says that it is through the cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, through which the detoxification actually happens. So, and it is very clear that it happens only at night, only when we are sleeping. So it is in the restful state that this detoxification really happens. And he has clearly explained with this diagram, if we can just go and see this TED talk by this person, like one more good reason to get a good night's sleep,
Yeah.
like that. So here he explains that this cerebrospinal fluid, at night, it just flows through the cellular spaces and all the cells that is there in the neuronal system and the spinal cord, in the brain and spinal cord, and it clears of all the toxins. It just cleans everything. And what if we don't sleep well? Just think the contrary. If we don't sleep well, all this toxins that is there in the cell, it just remains there. The cells get swelled up and there is no drainage happening at that time. So what if we don't sleep? The toxin still remains there. And what is the result of this actually? We all have experienced this. When we don't get good sleep, how will we be interacting with the people the next day? We'll be irritated, no? We'll be less creative, we'll be less resilient. We won't be having so much of good conversation with our family members or friends. in like instead of making friends, we'll end up making more enemies. Yeah. So see how much important the sleep actually is. So because of this simple process of detoxification can actually help us to become more creative, more refreshing the next day, and we'll be more resilient. It is not that we don't get any emotional imbalances. We are human, but we'll be more resilient. We'll be back to our normal emotional state very soon if we get this good night's sleep. So this is very important, guys, to get this good night's sleep. Sleep early and wake up early. That is very important. So, and definitely we'll be having, most of us will be facing so many sleep disorders like hypersomnia, insomnia, somnambulation, like walking during sleep. Yeah,
Yeah, yes.
rather than
We
rather than sleep. There are, yes, yeah, like we have seen. Maybe we'll be having some friends who do that.
yes.
What is it?
In our family also we see like our fathers and our brothers sometimes do this while sleeping they are talking, they do some things, or they they have these kind of things. So there is a
Yes.
scientific backing on this. So I think Ajay can explain a little bit about that, because you know
So what it may be of that which goes to the subconscious mind that we are just feeling
yes,
out at night.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes. But that also doesn't give a clear indication that we are getting a good night's sleep. It's not a state of deep sleep
true,
because in
true,
deep sleep we don't get all these things where the
very
delta waves are prominent.
mhm.
Yeah. So that much important is the sleep. And also I have this experience that when I consult patients, when I was doing this house agency, like most of the patients who used to narrate their problems, when we ask them, all most of them will be having this sleep problems.
Yeah,
Yeah, 90%. And out of which, if we have this, some patients who are having this sleep problem, 90 percentage of it will be mostly due to some psychological aspect.
hmm,
Yeah.
yes,
And only the rest 10% will be really having this sleeplessness due to some health issues, real health issues. So I had just one more thing that I would like to share is that there is my there is one friend of mine who has done this research in sleep deprivation connected with GRD. Vijay might be knowing. So it is like those who sleep really late. It is not only sleeplessness. Even if we get 8 hours of sleep, but we sleep late and wake up late, that is not good because those who she found that those people who sleep really late ends up getting diseases like GERD,
yes.
gastrointestinal reflux disease, which is very painful condition. It's not pleasant. So, dear friends, this itself is an indication that we should uh, try to sleep early. Yeah, because Kunal brother and Vijay has already said how they actually corrected the sleep pattern during this pandemic, and also you can end up. Sorry to say that there is studies that have said that those who sleep very late or those who get very less amount of sleep, the toxins get accumulated and it just goes as a result, it results in Alzheimer's disease.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so
so what Ajay says, I'll compliment a little bit more on that, and she has just explained about the diseases, and I might thought that you all guys might have little fear, like, oh, we are doing so much of bad to us. So I'll tell you some nice aspect of sleep, like why is this sleep very nice, very important, and can help us to regain a lot of things and lot of potential what we have in our life. So I'll just categorize two different parts, like in day and in night. I'll just be very brief and explain you in few words. Like in the day, we have right nostril more dominating in the day. So as the right nostril, you all viewers can experience it anytime in the day. If you get little bit of sense inside, the sensibility inside, you will feel that the right nostril is more dominating than the left. Both nostril will work equally, but there will be a little dominance in the right nostril. It's only because this, in the yogic text, the right nostril is known as Surya Nadi. That is for the day, you know. So they call it solar energy channel in English. So this Surya Nadi, because of this Surya Nadi, when we breathe, you know, when we have this energy flow inside our body, in the day, the energy actually eliminates from our body, because our body is in proactive state. We are in a position to do the work, you know. So our body will automatically eliminate the energy from our body. So it's the nature, it's how nature works. And because of that, our sympathetic system is active, you know. And what happens when the sympathetic system is active? The sympathetic system creates a energy inside to do all the things very actively. So in contrast to this, in opposite to this, in the night, our left nostril is more dominating than the right. And this left nostril, in the yogic text, they explain it as Chandra Nadi. And this Chandra Nadi, as we can translate it as moon energy channel, you know, on the left side. And in the night, when we sleep, we gain a lot of energy. The energy is very subtle, so you know, researchers has not measured it yet. But in the night, we absorb energy a lot. So that's why people say it's very, very important to sleep at night, because energy automatically flows inside. You know, it's very, very easy. It's like charging ourselves on the night is more effective than on the day, because in the day the sun is there, and you know, this preoccupied thing is there inside ourselves. So from this is inside our genetic system. Our genetic system is predisposed now to the solar system, you know, to the solar eclipse and to the lunar eclipse also, and this solar movement also. So yeah, this is the basic science why we have to sleep on the night. And it creates a lot of profit for us, you know. And many research has been done on this also, that a lack of sleep on night, if you sleep for 4 hours or 5 hours, you will have loss of memory, you will have cognitive disabilities, a little by little, you know, by years and years. And you will also face some problem in your, like, Alzheimer's disease or some other diseases. So yeah, so I think this is pretty much enough for science of sleep, I guess, you know. And Vijay can conclude it if he wants, or we can move it to the next part if Vijay can lead us.
Yeah, I think both of you have said enough. Like, there is a lot of points discussed, and very interesting to know about those two nadis and no left nostril, right nostril, and energy flow. Something new to hear about. It's really good. So I think it's also important to discuss about this idea of quality and the quantity of sleep, right? I mean, like people tend to misunderstand oversleeping, you know, having a good sleep with oversleeping. Like I think these are two different terms which you would have experienced. Like for me, as I've already shared, initially I used to have lot of sleep, like for 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Still, I used to feel tired. Whereas there were a few days where I used to sleep for only 4 or 5 hours, but then I used to wake up fresh, happily singing. You know, like in homeopathy, we have this drug, phosphorus, you know, which is given to this person who's waking up happily and singing happily. So, yeah, I think it's sulfur. Yeah. So, yeah. So it's that case of scenario. So it pretty much depends on a qualitative sleep. It's like delivering a quality material than a material which doesn't have much quality in large quantity. So it's pretty much similar even in the case of sleep. So what you think, Kunal or Ajay, can share is important to have a qualitative sleep.
So yeah, so quality of sleep is very, very important, you know. In the night when you sleep, before that what you are doing, and you know, uh, And in the quality, we have actually, I have done a research in IIT Delhi that people who take caffeine and people, we done on different set, like we have done for alcoholic people also and for people who take caffeine. So, like before sleep, there are many things which can affect our sleep. Like if we take caffeine, then it is not possible for us to sleep instantly. It will take around 2 to 3 hours to get to a nice sleep. Even if you are in the bed, you will use your mobile phone, you will use your television, or you will you will think that you will go to sleep, but you will be like in this half stage of sleep. You will not be in sleep. So many people do it just to complete their day and to complete the task. They have something to complete at night. Some
Mm.
people are like, I have this goal in the full day, but I have something to complete. So they take two cups of coffee, or something. They take tea. They smoke. Some people smoke also. So it can give you potential to complete that work, but it will hamper your sleep. It will affect your sleep definitely. So
Yes.
I just want to tell that if you want to take a coffee and tea, you can take in the evening, or you can take sometime like 4 to 5 hours before the sleep. If you take it
That,
before, so Ajay can explain a little bit about that also, because uh,
yes, yes, Kunal. Yes, definitely. Yes, whatever we do, no, the preparation for sleep is very important. So many people will be struggling to sleep early and get up early. How are we going to do that without having proper preparation? So there are some suggestions that it it has helped me a lot. So as Kunal has already suggested, we just refrain ourselves from taking coffee or tea, or we can actually take it maybe a 4 or 5 hours. Okay. So the 1 hour before sleep is very important. And just a point to add, just because of this current scenario, we are leading a sedentary life, right? We are just sitting in front of this glass in our laptop, in front of our laptop, and all those things. We are just inside our home doing all this activity in a sedentary manner. We are not just doing any workout. So I would suggest, I had this sleep problem in the initial period of this pandemic, and then I realized that this is because of this lack of exercise. So just try doing some exercise. I would recommend this walk session that you can just go, YouTube it. It's very good. You can just walk for 15 minutes inside your home. This is just a suggestion. You can just try it out. Just do some workout. You have been sitting all day. And you try to sleep. You're this energy is still there. You have to somehow circulate this energy throughout your system. So you can just try out doing some workout. I done it and it was really effective. And as both of you have already suggested, putting off the mobile phones before we go into sleep, at least this 1 hour before the sleep, we can just put off this mobile phones, put away from, we'll just move away from the screen. And and also we can just have some hot milk, warm milk that can actually induce this sleepiness. We just swift into sleep. Yeah, and we can just wash our legs, we wash our feet before going to sleep. And these things actually can help us to just swift into this sleep. I think this has really helped me, and I think this can help you also. If you guys want to complement this point on sleep, going to sleep with a lot of contentment in your heart, this is
yeah.
very important, because this half done works, every day we have some work which we have left. So if you can, Vijay or Kunal can just contribute to this aspect of contentment before we go to sleep. We'll just submit ourselves. Can you just, any of you can
Yeah,
compliment on that? Yeah,
yeah, sure.
that's
That
very
was a
important.
beautiful point which you brought in. No contentment. After works have always troubled me in my initial college days. I used to go to sleep thinking, "Oh my God, I didn't finish my assignment." Like, and
Yes,
this
yes,
used to be running in my mind even during sleep. Sometimes even got dreams, which like as if some teacher was scolding me not
Yeah.
submitting assignment, which were all funny
yes,
scenarios during sleep. So this aspect of contentment is something very important. So what we could do is, as we have already seen the benefits of doing an activity with a fresh mind versus sleeping mind. Some job or work which you would want to complete and submit the next day. And
Mm-hmm.
you're already running up late in the night. You can maybe think in the other perspective, like you can maybe sleep for like 4 to 5 hours in the night. Like if it's 11 o'clock and you have to submit it next day morning around 8 o'clock, you don't have to sit around the night and do it. Maybe you can sleep for 4 to 5 hours, wake up by 4 or 4:30, or keep an alarm or try some activities, or maybe tell someone to wake you up. And I think if you do that activity, waking up early in the mind, I think you would also have a beautiful day next day morning, and also you would have done the work. So this is something which I practiced in my second or third year in college. First year it was like this scenario where I used to wake up, stay up late in the night, and I used to be this full like night runner.
Completing the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can
So
also
So that's
tell,
Kunal,
one thing.
I can also tell a little bit on my experience.
yeah, please.
So I can say, like, everybody has their own hobbies. Everybody has their own hobbies apart from the work, apart from what they do every day. So I think they should cherish their hobbies before sleep a little bit, because that will give them a happy time, and that will give a contentment of time. You will feel little me time. What we say as me time. So my hobby was music. I used to do music, and I learned music also. So
Yeah.
I used to play some instrument like guitar or some other instrument, some keyboard or something for some time before sleep, and that give me a very very calm and soothing effect and prepare me for the sleep. I'm not saying about, like, you can have your hobby. You can do book reading. You can do painting. You can draw something. And any kind of hobby. You can do some crafting, some anything. Whatever you want to do. So before sleep, if you do what you love, that helps you a lot to make a feel of contentment. And I tell you, that
Entertainment.
will, yeah, that will help you to go in a deep sleep. That's my
Yeah.
Beautiful.
experience. Yeah.
Actually,
Beautiful.
what I used to do is I've this hobby of journaling things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I used to write down. So, this incomplete work, it really bothers, as Vijay and Kunal has already mentioned, it really bothers us, no? It just pricks from within. So I just write down that, okay, I couldn't do this work. If I was supposed to do this today, but I couldn't do it. I just write it down in my journal and I just put it aside so that, okay, don't bother me at night. Don't come in my dreams and bother me anymore.
Yeah.
So like that, I just do this journaling and I just scan through this entire day. It is not that you have done nothing. You have done something, no? You can just
Obviously.
scan through this entire day and be thankful for all those things that you have done, that you could do at that day, and just repent if you couldn't do that. Just repent that, okay, sorry that I couldn't do. You can just repent it to yourself, that in yourself, and you can submit it before you go to sleep and get a good night's sleep. So
Yeah.
this has really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are really good
So
points. Spending your own time journaling, really great
Yeah.
perspectives I'm getting by sharing and discussing with you.
yeah.
So yeah, and there is one more short technique which I practiced, early in the months of May or June during this pandemic period, which I would like to share with all of you guys. So there is this technique which I found in YouTube. There is this which technique where you need to create this ideology before you go to sleep,
Yeah.
that there is ice cube 8 inches or 8 inches above your head, and it's
Mm-hmm.
spreading kind of coldness through your head, and your head is
Mm-hmm.
getting cold. Then your face and your back of the head is getting cold. So you develop this kind of thought and try to lie down and sleep. So I have found it really effective. Like I fall asleep within minutes. Like that has been really effective. So
So the entire
just
system gets cooled down.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you can try it until you fall
Great.
asleep. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very nice practice. I have also experienced it sometimes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
just while we are sharing this technique, I think there is one more thing. If you are stressed, and as Kunal has already mentioned about the sympathetic and parasympathetic thing, this transition when happens during this evening from right to left. So
yeah.
this left is parasympathetic, right? There is no fight or flight there. There is utmost calmness. That's why we are able to sleep at night with this shift. So there is this technique of left nostril breathing. I have recommended it to several patients as well as along with some relaxation technique. It has really helped many and it has helped me even before writing exams or even before going to sleep. So I think you can just help me in demonstrating it. Just take this right thumb, close your right nostril. Yeah. Just try to sit straight. Okay. And you can just take up this abdominal breathing. While doing this, just put a smile on your face. Okay, you're just giving some positive signals to the brain. Yeah, so put a smile, put a smile on your face, and just have very deep inhalation from the abdomen. Okay, it's actually we have to do it 9 times. Now, as we have limited time, we are not doing it the whole thing, but I recommend that we'll do it 9 times. Okay, I think you guys are doing great. Yeah.
So
So
it is really effective. I have done just 3 times and it affects me.
yes, of course.
Definitely.
It just where it cools down the entire system, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and
Yes.
you are not in full like you are not going to fight or flight in
Yeah.
that mode anymore. You are just cool down. Yeah. So you can just
Wow.
try to do it before these sessions, or you're going to for your exams, or before you're going to sleep.
Yes.
Yes, this is highly recommended. You can just try it. Yeah.
That's a beautiful
So
method. Yeah, thanks for sharing. So yeah, now we'll think for from my perspective, as you have seen, or felt, think this sleep for me is something where we differ from a regular state of mindset, or you can say consciousness. Consciousness meaning that consciousness is like something which you're
a
aware of.
sense of yeah.
Yeah, a sense of self awareness. So there is this alteration of your consciousness, and in this alteration your sensory and motor system go into a state of inhibition. The shift in consciousness where these two systems go into self of inhibition, I think it's sleep.
Yes.
That's what I have felt. And something which you'd like to add, Ajaya?
Yes. Uh, I think we are emphasizing more about this deep sleep state, no? But it's a state of unconsciousness, actually, unconsciousness with no content. There is no dream, nothing bothering us anymore. And as Vijay has already mentioned about this state of awareness, which is consciousness, it is nothing but a bandwidth between two oceans. Two oceans. One is of the superconsciousness, and the lower part is that of this subconsciousness. So this is the small bandwidth that the conscious mind that we are having right now. Yeah. So what happens during sleep is actually we shift from this conscious state of mind to a state of subconsciousness. So it is a very gentle shift that we experience as we told that the stages of sleep from drowsiness to very deep sleep. So this is a very subtle transition. So it
Mm.
is very important what we give to the subconscious mind before we go to sleep. This actually comes under the part of preparation for going to sleep, before going to sleep.
Yeah.
I would suggest like maybe both of you have already tried this technique, or many of you who are listening here might have tried this technique. You can just read something. Kunal has already suggested to read something. He used to like play some instruments. Yeah, that's really interesting one. But
Yeah.
what that is something very positive that you give to your subconscious mind, right? Before you go to sleep. Yeah. So that this technique is you can just not read a novel because you tend to read it the whole night if it is very
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not a novel that I'm suggesting. You can just read some self-help books like Power of Positive Thinking or yeah, Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, maybe Designing Destiny by Daji. So such self-help books, you can just read 2 or 3 pages, maybe one page, just contemplate over that feeling of now and how that author tries to communicate with us. So these positive things, no, it just goes to the subconscious mind. So this transition will be very smooth. We are no more struggling with our day-to-day thoughts. It is not like bypassing, but it's not fooling, nothing like that. But it really helps for this a smooth transition. So if Kunal wants to add something to this,
Yes,
great.
I think it's beautifully explained by Ajaya, and I think we can. That is a very effective tool, to just do a little bit of what you like reading some specific kind of book, and playing some instrument or painting, or but not for a longer time, just for a specific small time, and you feel the level of contentment. And then I can assure you that you will experience the relaxation in the after, that some because of the contentment you will feel the relaxation, and it will be very easy and very effective to go and sleep. So yeah, so that's it. I
We
think.
would like to experience it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I think Vijay can tell. We will move forward, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So like I also practice this method of relaxing. So yeah, I think I'll guide you through, and all of you can sit and relax. Let's try it. Now, sit
Okay.
comfortably. Gently close your eyes. Now scan through your entire system from your head till your toes. Now wiggle your toes and feel your toes getting relaxed. Now feel that there is an energy from Mother Earth entering your system from your toes through your feet. And it's relaxing your feet. Your ankles are getting relaxed. As it's moving up, it's relaxing your calf muscles. Your knees are getting relaxed. Your thighs are now getting relaxed. Now it's moving up and relaxing the part of the body in contact with the chair. That is your area of buttocks, your back. They're all getting relaxed. And feel your entire back from top till the tailbone completely relaxed. Now the energy is relaxing your hips, your waist, your abdominal muscles. They're all getting relaxed. Now your chest is getting relaxed. Now feel all the tension and stress in your shoulders simply melting away. Now your arms are getting relaxed. Your elbows, forearms, wrist, right till the fingertips are all getting relaxed. Feel the energy oozing out of your fingertips. As this energy is moving up your neck, it's relaxing your neck and neck muscles. As it enters your face, feel your chin, lips, cheeks, earlobes, all getting relaxed. Both your eyes are getting relaxed and cold. Your forehead is getting relaxed. With all your facial muscles relaxed, the energy is moving up, relaxing your top of the head. With your entire body relaxed, once again scan through and feel if there is any stress in any part of your body. Gently feel that part to get relaxed. And in this state of complete relaxed state, shift your attention into your heart. Feel the love and lightness in your heart. Now, try to feel presence of divinity in your heart, which is pulling your attention inwards. Now, with this thought, try to meditate for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Please start meditation.
That's all. Now you may very gently open your eyes. Yeah. So hope you had a good meditation session now.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep. So really, it was a really great session that which we had with you guys. So glad we had discussed a lot. I'm glad to have you both accompany me in this intuition session. Really enjoyed discussing with you guys.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot everybody to join with us, and it's
Thanks a
been a
lot
great
for
session. Yeah,
Yes, it was indeed a great learning experience with Vijay and Kunal. So I just have a suggestion to this viewers who are seeing this video. We have just shared some techniques, no, from our own experience, or maybe with some references. So if you have better ideas to share, you can just drop the ideas in the chat, whether it is in Insta or YouTube or Facebook, so that people get benefited. Yeah. So this is just a simple suggestion from my part.
yes,
You can.
yes. I think it's
Thank
a
you so
beautiful.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we might have left some points where they find, okay, this has really helped me. So I think they should have told that. So maybe we have left that and they could actually add that in the chat. So yes, that's it. So thank you. It was a great time spending with Vijay and Kunal. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Intuition Spain. Yeah.
Thank you all.